Arcades. They've been around for years and years. We could probably bring up many memories we have. So this week, we thought we would give our personal top 5 favorite arcade games. And to help us with that, we thought we'd have a guest on. Galagaguy88 is with us, who happens to have an arcade of his own.
Pour the coffee.
Top of the mustache to you, and welcome to another episode of Mustaches and Coffee. Where the topic goes, nobody knows. I'm Isaac.
I'm Ben.
We got a special guest with us, Galagaguy88. How you doing?
Doing great.
Oh, it's a honor to have you with us. We're so excited to have the topic of arcade games. And a little fun fact with you is you have your own arcade. We kind of see that behind you there. That's pretty fantastic.
Absolutely. Yes. Been building it for a while now. Yep.
All right. We're so excited to get into it, but we'd like to kind of catch up to see what the goings on are going on. So as our guest, Galagaguy88, we like to ask, what's been brewing in your life?
Well, right now, just been working on the arcade. Got different modifications I'm doing to all these things. It's always something going on. So right now, just been working on that, taking care of the family, and doing all the normal stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I could see. I'm kind of wanting to jump in if I was there with you and just start playing the games behind you. It's just so cool.
I'm tempted right now to stop and turn around.
You're welcome. That's so cool. That's so cool, man. I'm kind of jealous. I'm not gonna lie. So it's great to have you with us, and that sounds like a lot of fun stuff going on there. But I'll ask Ben now too. And how are you doing, Ben? I keep forgetting to do that. That's almost a running gag. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Weather was brutal all last week. I know. Again, here we go with the weather. I feel like I have a weekly weather report. It's terrible outside. Anywho, had a nice weekend. Went to my niece's graduation party. Had a friend work on a 3D printer to be able to have it to where I can check it online. Nice. And then I randomly had a dream last night of ants attacking my leg. That's what I got going on.
Never fail, Ben. You got some kind of random thing in there. That sounded like a normal weekend until, some ants attacking you.
Yeah, I woke up kicking my leg, get off.
Oh, well, that's interesting. All right. Yes. I'll never look at ants the same now. Okay. So, well, just a quick thing. I was just going to bring up, I've been having a pretty good time with my oldest son. We've been going through, we've both said we like it, kind of a part of our childhood, the original animated series of Batman. We've been going through that and just watched one of my favorite episodes here recently. And it was kind of special. I remember watching that growing up and to watch it with him, go through. I mean, it's just like you're feeling like a kid again. So I've been doing that little things with my kids and family, just the normal, I guess dad stuff. And like you said, it's been really hot. So I've been kind of on the fence, like, should I do this stuff outside or should I not? And last week kind of worn out. I'm going to stay inside in the air conditioning. So haven't got the chance to do projects outside like I like, but that's okay. It's all good. So, but yeah, that's pretty much been the goings on. We're again really excited about this topic. We have a lot of nostalgia with arcade, and we're so excited to have Galagaguy88 with us because he's going to be able to kind of fill us in if we forget certain arcades. I'm sure he'll be able to give us some more knowledge, more fun facts on that. So we're looking forward to this topic. I'm really excited. So let's go ahead and jump into our main topic. There are so many arcade games to choose from, but there's so many memories to go through also. So this week we're going to take just our top five, which could change from day to day. But for this time, this day, we're going to share our top five with us. And again, we're honored to have you with us, Galagaguy88. Just make mention, you have your own YouTube channel. You rebuild all these arcade cabinets. This is just completely in your wheelhouse. We absolutely had to have you on for this topic. So I don't think of anything more fitting to have you kick this off. So I'm very interested. What is your number 5 when it comes to your favorite arcade games?
Well, this has been very tough. I've actually, before we even started, I've changed my list probably 5 or 6 times. It's very difficult to get it to 5. I'm like, oh, no, this should be it. And I'm like, no, this one. And I'm like, oh, 5 is just so hard for me to narrow it down. So it's ever changing, my top 5, but this is what it is at this moment. So number 5 for me would be Star Wars, the Atari version, which is right behind me right now.
Ah, yeah.
Yes. So that one is one that I've always loved playing, enjoyed whenever I was growing up. I've seen a couple of these in malls. So I've always been drawn to the arcade cab. So that would be my number 5. And I love the old Star Wars, so it kind of fit everything. So
yeah,
that's why that one's my number 5.
Very nice.
That's a great pick. Very good pick. I maybe only played that once. It was in a obscure arcade. I remember walking in, but yeah, as soon as you said, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a classic, isn't it? Like a lot of people regard that as a collectible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's was made right, after the first Star Wars movie came out, so it definitely attracted a lot of people, especially during that time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, it fits in nicely with your collection there. So awesome. Great choice there. Well, let's go over to Ben. What's your number 5?
So mine's more on the line of skill games. There is a lot of fond memories I have of arcade games, but this one I had to mention just because there was a funny story behind it. The typical claw machine. Everybody's played one of those.
Oh yeah.
I was at a bowling alley years ago, and the claw machine had a can of black-eyed peas in it. Like
not the band.
Yeah.
Not the band in the can.
Oh man, I got Fergie. But no, it's an actual can of black-eyed peas.
Weird.
But yeah, I still play them from time to time. And at one point, I was trying to talk my wife into getting one in my garage, but that didn't go over so well. So that's what I got. A claw machine.
Very nice. What's the best prize that you've ever won that you can remember?
A can of black-eyed peas. No.
That was it.
There was one in the mall, and it was like you put, I think it was like 50 cents in, and you got like to go twice. I think it was. You had a time limit. I ended up winning like 10.
Nice.
And I'm like, what am I gonna do with all these? So I ended up just like, hey, you want a prize? So I like handed it out to random kids in the mall. But yeah,
that's very cool.
Nice.
Now that's a classic. Yeah, everybody, I think at one point in time has done some kind of claw machine, and there's all kinds of prizes, so it varies. I was just curious if you like. There's those like really big ones, like the big teddy bears. It's like life size. I've seen those claw machines. Those are. I haven't had a chance to win anything from that, but I've always, I don't know, been like one of these days maybe I'll win one. It'd be cool. So yeah, that's a great pick. Great way to start it off. My number 5 is one that should be well known. I just recall many times seeing it in practically every arcade, and that's Donkey Kong. It's just a classic. So many like competitive, surprisingly. Like you think of competitive, I guess modern age, but there's like a really strong following for Donkey Kong. There, I mean, they made a documentary on it, King of Kong, I think is what it's called.
Mhm.
I found it really fascinating. It's just a fun arcade, and of course it inspired Nintendo to go on to make Mario and grow into what it is today. But I think that's just one that if I walk into an arcade and I see a Donkey Kong, it's almost one of the first things I go to. It's just almost a great starter arcade game for me. But I don't know. I think some people might even rank it higher, but I think it's a good 5 for me. So that's my number 5 pick. So let's go back over to Galagaguy88. So what's your number 4?
This one's a little greener. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know whenever you went to a bowling alley or I went to Pizza Hut or whatever, usually they had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sitting there, and it was such a iconic arcade in the 90s that, you
Yeah.
know, the way that the side of it was that had April on it and the turtles, and you'd put a couple quarters in them and you'd lose really fast because it was made to so you wouldn't last very long. So but still loved that arcade, and it's one of those ones that I have great memories of. So that is my number 4 on my
Oh,
list.
that's a great pick. I figured you're gonna have some great picks, but that one, man, you said Pizza Hut. Like, wow. Wow. That's like a core memory unlocked. Yeah, Pizza Hut always had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or some kind of arcade. So yeah, that's a great pick.
Yep.
Yeah. I almost want to go play it right now. That you say it. That's great. All right. Let's move to Ben now. What's your number 4?
So, again, it's not technically like it is an arcade game, but pinball. So I actually
yeah.
years ago, when I was living with my grandparents, and our family was living at their house, a neighbor across the street was throwing out a pinball machine. I ended up like taking it from the trash. It was a Star Explorer pinball machine from 1977, I believe. I should have kept it. It was a little bit shorter. I sold it on eBay back then to see how much I could get out of it. It sold for $60. And yeah, I remember there was a person that bought it from like Michigan and drove all the way from Michigan to pick it up. I looked it up today to see what they were worth, and people were selling them for like $1,500.
Oh.
I was like, ooh.
That's why they drove from Michigan.
I know. $60. That's a steal.
Oh man. Is that your favorite pinball though? 'Cause, I mean, there's so many.
There's so many. Probably my favorite. I was just talking to a guy at work today about that. Probably the Jurassic Park pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Galagaguy88 that you can think of?
Attack from Mars is probably my favorite one. That's the one. If I ever see one of those, I always got to stop and play at least a couple rounds of it. I always enjoy that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you say pinball, it's like, oh, there's so many great ones. What comes to mind is Indiana Jones. That was one it was a newer pinball, so it was really interactive, but it had like different scenes from the movies and stuff. So yeah, pinball's a great pick. That's just a solid, and you can't go wrong if it's like, I don't like this one. Well, what do you like? In pop culture, you'll probably be able to find a pinball that's to your liking. So yeah, that's a great pick.
Yep.
So yeah, going into my number 4, I was going to go with kind of along the lines of what you were thinking there, Ben. Just a classic arcade game. I've got Skee Ball. It's just, you can't go wrong with that. It's one of those, if you need a few tickets and you know the tricks of the trade, so to say, that's a great go-to on the arcade front. And it's a ton of fun. I don't know if you've seen it before. In some arcades, they had like, 10 to 15 of them lined up. And some arcades actually have the high score up like high. so you're almost linked together. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before, but there was one arcade that was like that. It was so cool. Like you were competing with other people trying to get the high score at that time. Kind of like I don't know, amusement park where they shoot the water and like the thing is racing. It was almost like that. You were timed, but there was a high score. But yeah, anyway, I think skee ball is just one of those. If I go into an arcade, that's one I'm also looking for. I'm keeping an eye out, and hopefully they have one. It's almost, I think, a given that you're going to see one, but I hope that there's always one when I'm walking into one anyway. So
to piggyback off your comment real quick, so that just made me remember. So growing up, my mom used to clean these like millionaires' houses in this golf course, and they had a skee ball down in their living room. So as she's cleaning, I got to play skee ball. So anyways, that's a side note.
That sounds like a whole other story. Now, hang on a second. You're cleaning houses for millionaires, and they were on a golf course?
Yes, and they had skee ball and our whole arcade thing in their bottom of their basement. So yeah, that's another topic for another story.
It just sounds like a I don't know, one of those sitcom stories. Like you're just like playing off the main plot. Like, wait a minute, back up. That sounds like a whole. Yeah, I guess if you're a millionaire, you can afford a skee ball or a bowling alley kind of idea down there. So that makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's move to number 3. So we're back to Galagaguy88. What you got for number 3?
Well, speaking of sitcoms, this one was on a famous sitcom back in the day, Frogger. I don't know if you guys remember that episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3 choice. I love me some Frogger. So that one is always one I've just been interested in. It's kind of like a puzzle game and also a lot of maneuvering and timing things correctly. And it's just one of those ones you can sit down on and, you can get pretty good at without, feeling like this is impossible. You can get pretty far and get good at it. So I really like me some Frogger.
Yeah. What's your high score? Do you know what you got on it? I have to ask.
It was like that one I'm not the best at. I think mine's like 12,000 and some. I don't quite remember. I have to go and look.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing near like George from Seinfeld. I'm not near his. His is like astronomical. But yeah.
That's why I had to ask. I was like, is it anywhere close to George's? Because that's what he still bragged about. Wasn't it like high school? He got that high school score and it was still on there. So that was the whole premise. Yeah. I had to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed that game, but I was never really good at it. I can't even tell you. It was probably not even 1,000, if that.
Yeah.
Probably my high score, but it's been years. Yeah.
I love playing it whenever my wife's around because it gives her anxiety because I'll move real fast around stuff. And she's like, "Why are you moving so fast? Like, stop moving so fast." I'm just like, "Oh, you got to do it. Like, once you see the move, like, you just got to make it. You can't, you can't just, wait. As soon as you wait, then you're in trouble. So, yeah, just move."
Yeah. That's probably my problem is I waited too much, but it's not for the people with anxiety for sure. That's the opposite of what, if you're trying to relax, play a game that's more laid back, I don't think you want to play Frogger, but it's still fun. Otherwise, yeah, great pick. That's a classic for sure. Okay, well let's go to Ben then. What's your number 3?
So this one is, again, it's on a more of a skill. I like the skill games. I don't know what it is. I like arcade games too, but it's like I have to beat this. So I try to look it up, and I don't know exactly what it's called. So hopefully you can help me, Sheldon. Okay. So it is a game where it's like a little ski ramp, and there's a spinning wheel, and you drop like a token. It goes down, and you have to try to get it through.
Is it on The Price is Right kind of thing? Is that kind of what it is? I don't know. Plinko. Is it like Plinko?
No, not like Plinko.
Okay.
It looks like a guy skiing, and it kind of goes down like this, and then it comes back up. And there's a spinning wheel, and you have to land the token. It goes down the ramp, and then it goes through. And if you get like a jackpot, you win a bunch of tickets or something. Anyways, that's my pick. They were all at like Chuck E. Cheese and everything. So I'll have to look up later what it's called, but I just couldn't find it online.
That's still good. I can kind of visualize what you're talking about. I think they've done kind of
It's like a
spin-offs of
mountain or
that.
something mountain, or I don't know.
Okay.
If you're listening out there and you know what this is, write us. Comment, because we need your help.
I can visualize it. So I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. Maybe it was just like Ice Climber or something. But yeah, there's
something
different...
like that. It was it was like
Okay.
a mountain with slopes and yada yada yada. Anyways, it was fun.
Yeah, because if you got the jackpot, it seemed like it was like 500 tickets or something.
Yeah, I
Like
think
you
something like that.
timed it just right. So I kind of visualize it, but there's also been different versions of it. I want to say this is weird of me to bring up, but I think there was like a Mr. T version of that, like his head, like he went into his mouth or something, and I could be remembering that wrong. Yeah.
Now,
But same idea.
Did it slide or did you shoot? Like, did you shoot the coin or did it slide?
I think it had like a little thing, like metal rail, I think that went in, and you put it, and then it would slide down. It would go down pretty far and then come up.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, there used to be one that had a token you put in it, and you kind of had like this little, it's not really a gun, it's like a little thing that would shoot the coin up in the air, and there was like dinosaurs, and it had a wheel at the bottom that would turn too.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Kind of similar, but it's not that.
Okay.
Yeah,
but that's also a fun game.
That one's fun too.
That's bringing back so many memories. Yeah, like everything that you guys are saying, I've probably played it at some point at one arcade or another, and that's they take your tokens pretty much because you're just putting them in trying to get the jackpot, but it's still fun. I mean, you take that equation out of they're ripping you off, I guess, but well, for my number 3, this was tough because I almost wanted to rank this a little higher, but I don't know. I ask me on a different day. Maybe I'll rank this higher. But I have the Star Wars trilogy arcade, and it's just so much fun. It was like a rail shooter idea. So you're always on a path. You don't have to worry about moving so much. It's just aim and shoot pretty much. And it took you through different scenes of the movie. Like the first one is the Death Star from the first Star Wars, and then I think you can choose after that. It's either the Hoth or Endor. And then there's like these little side bonuses, or you can battle with Boba Fett. You can face off against Darth Vader. I mean, it was so precision based that if you were off for a second, you get game over. It was very much one of those, you had to be very skilled at it. But I remember we stayed at a hotel and they had that, and it was Marvel versus Capcom. Just that was it. That was their arcade. But for whatever reason, they decided to say, you know what? It's free play tonight. So I went down and I just played that and beat it and didn't have to spend anything. It's just so amazing. I was just like, this is so awesome. I remember spending so much money on this thing, getting game over and over again, but I got to finally beat it that way. So that's kind of like a memory with me of in that hotel. I don't know what it was. Somebody was just like, I don't care. I'm just going to flip on the free to play, or I don't know. They were feeling generous that night, but it's a memory that still sticks with me. And to me, it's like a number 3. That's another one. If I go into an arcade, I'm kind of eyeballing, do they got the trilogy? I've got to at least see if I can beat it without getting a game over like I was when I was younger anyway. So yeah, you guys have any memories with that one? It seemed like that's like in a bunch of arcades.
Yeah, I remember going to the Dollar Theater back whenever they had Dollar Theaters. And playing that one, and somehow I got to Darth Vader. I was kind of younger, so I didn't quite understand what was going on, and so I had to try and fight Darth Vader as Luke, and I died so many times trying to play that game. But I don't remember the movie we went and saw, but I remember playing the Star Wars game there. So that one also, that was one of my top 5 too. I was like, Atari Star Wars or the Sega Star Wars. I was like, so that one was a close one on my list too. So
yeah,
I approve.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we got to get it in there. I would have been surprised if nobody else made mention of it, because I don't know. You probably remember that one too, Ben, because that was like in every arcade back in the 90s for sure.
A little bit. It's kind of hazy, actually.
Yeah. there's like different versions. The one that you can sit down is the best. I've seen some where you stand to do it, but you actually sit down and it's just like a joystick and you have the trigger and they have a big red button. I remember my uncle,
it's coming back.
Yeah. I'm sure if you saw it, you'd be like, oh yeah, that one. But my uncle taught me a trick on it. Is there's a red button and you can send your squad in front, and he knew the timing to send them at just the right time because you get overwhelmed at times. Again, it's an arcade game; they're trying to make you lose, but if you knew the tricks, you could get through it. And he knew the tricks. He'd be like, okay, you got to time it right here. So yeah, I got there's a lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories with that one. So I had to at least put it in my top 3 for sure. That's one that I was wanting to get some feedback. I'm like, I got memories with it, but I'm like that seemed like it was everywhere. You couldn't go into an arcade and not see that. So yeah, that's a solid number 3 for me. So we're moving into our second pick. So Galagaguy, you have the honors for number 2.
I was almost Dig Dug Guy 88 because I love Dig Dug. So that's that was my number 2. I used to play that. Actually, I played it on my GameCube. I had a Namco Museum disc on my GameCube, and that game I played so much on that thing. When I finally saw one in real life, it was like oh, like it was just like this machine is so awesome. And so that is like one of my favorite games. I always love playing it. I don't know what it is about blowing up dinosaurs or whatever, like pumping them up to blow up, but it's just entertaining to me for some reason.
It seems like it inspired a lot of mini games too. There's so many. I'm thinking of like Mario Party. Don't they have that in Mario Party? Kind of similar idea.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. They have that in there too. Yep.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of when I think Dig Dug. It's that was that was definitely like early 80s. That's like a classic. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I know another one of those that I know is a classic, but I've probably only played a couple times, unfortunately. So maybe I'll have to fix that next time I go to an arcade because I've always wanted to play it. There's a lot of pop culture with that one. Everybody knows that one universally. So great pick. All right. Yes. Well, let's go to Ben. What's your number 2?
So it would actually be my number 1, but it's my number 2 because of a specific reason. Because every time I played it with you, Isaac, I always get the wrong gun. It's the Jurassic Park game.
I thought you were going a completely different way. Let me just say that.
Yeah,
you're like, this is my number 1, but I'm gonna make it number 2 for a certain reason. So okay, I'm a little relieved. Okay, anyway.
So it's the Jurassic Park game. It's big, open, and you change through scenes and you're trying to shoot the dinosaurs. But like I said, every time I played with you, Isaac, I always get the gun that's like off, and I'm like dead in like 2 seconds. But anyways, great game. I always liked it.
Yeah. I think the last time we got together, sure enough, they even said, the one side isn't working, so it's pretty much one play. And you were so sad. I felt so bad for you. Do you remember the Chameleon? Are you talking about the Lost World one, right? I'm trying to
Lost World, I believe. Yeah, Lost World.
Yeah. Do you remember getting to the Chameleon? That's what I always remember about that one.
I don't actually. I don't. Well, I was dead, so I didn't make it that far.
I'm gonna think you. I think you did, Galagaguy. Haven't you played that one? Do you remember the Chameleon?
Oh yeah. I remember the Chameleon part. Yeah, that's the whole game is just it's just fun to play. I mean, I enjoy it. Who doesn't like Jurassic Park? First of all, and then you get to shoot dinosaurs. Like, what kid didn't want to do that? So that's that's a great pick.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. It was another one of those arcades that it set you up to fail because you had these little dots when it was like a T-Rex or a bigger dinosaur. That was to stun them. And if you didn't hit it at the right point, you'd get hit and it was game over. So yeah, it was one of those. But again, if you could do it on like a free play or something, it was fantastic. You could just sit there and play it and you could beat it. I don't know. I did that before. There's a like arcade nearby they do that where you just pay a flat rate and it's free play on all the arcades, and that's one of them. And I probably beat it in actually only 15, 20 minutes. It's not a long game, actually. It's just I remember playing it and getting game over so much it felt like a long game. But yeah, that's a great pick. Lots of fun memories with that. So for my number 2, I don't know if this is kind of cheating, but I think it's almost you have to have it in an arcade is air hockey. It's just almost a standard that you have it right in the middle of the arcade too. There's always a 5-year-old and another 5-year-old with sticky hands playing it or something. But I don't know. There's just something about it going, and it makes me think of a comedian. He was talking about bowling, but it's just like, hey, let me show you how it's done. It's like every time you step up, you feel like you're the best air hockey player ever. But it's so much fun. I love challenging anyone, and anybody can play it. Again, you normally see kids on it, but I've actually seen some adults, and it looked like they were playing with money on the line or something. Like they were very into it, and yeah, the puck was flying off constantly. So it's just, I don't know. It's a great, anybody can play it, and I don't know. I think of an arcade that immediately is what I picture. Do you guys have any fun memories with air hockey? Because again, how much I'm thinking it's in every arcade. Somebody's got to have some kind of fun memory with it.
Well, I do think they're always in arcades. Actually, that was on my list here, and I had changed it around so much, so that one got kind of taken off the list that I had in the beginning. But my greatest memory is how much my fingers hurt from playing with my brothers, because they would hit that puck so hard, and they would fly directly into my knuckles every time. I don't know how they got to do it. It almost became that was more of the object of the game was not to score, but to see if you get your brother's knuckles with the puck. So we always ended up with some bruises on our hands afterward. But yeah, I remember again a bowling alley where we'd go to. They'd be off bowling and we'd be over there playing air hockey. Just because, like you said, it's something that anyone could pick up and play, and you could beat your brother at or whoever and feel like you accomplished something. So love that game.
Yeah. I love it. How about you, Ben? You got any memories with it? I just like to open that up because, like Galagaguy said, it was like you almost got hurt playing it a little bit.
Yeah, it can become a very violent sport really quickly. Yes. So I want to say it was actually, again, including you, Isaac. So
back to me. Okay,
back to you again. So it was actually after I unfortunately died within Jurassic Park. We went over and played air hockey at that arcade near you, and I think we played for an hour straight. And I remember we were really getting into it, and I'm just pouring sweat. Just
yeah.
But that's probably the greatest memory of playing air hockey was with you.
Well, I'm honored that was there, but yeah, we had a great time because it was. Yeah, it was at least an hour, and yeah, that arcade again, it was just free play. So as long as it was open, there's nobody occupying it. You just walk up to it. And air hockey, it's you could just be there for hours if you wanted to, or until you pass out. I guess whichever comes first. But so yeah,
so who would usually win between you two? Was it fair? Not fair, but even? Was it usually even, or was there one person that usually
cheats
won?
at Jurassic Park, so who do you think won?
I was gonna say, so you gave him the bad gun in Jurassic Park, then you take him over to the take him over to air hockey and beat him over there.
My head against the table. Yeah, I mean,
no wonder why Ben's I have no fond memories of arcades because I kept all these things happen to me.
You're talking about fun memories, but you make it sound like I mistreat you when we go to arcades. I'm sorry. I don't know how you could cheat at air hockey either, other than you maybe fake them out and then they score on themselves. I don't recall, but I just remember it being a lot of fun. Yeah,
life finds a way.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. But yeah, we had a great time. I think I want to say it was about even, because there were some games where maybe I'd score a lot, but then I remember I would score on myself. You know how that's the other thing about air hockey is you can just knock it back by accident, and yeah, you just score on yourself. But yeah, we had a great time. I love playing different skill levels. I've played some that are I couldn't block, I couldn't stop anything, and then ones that are about my level. So yeah, that's probably why I pick it. It's just a great, you have fun regardless. If you're playing great or if you're playing terrible, you should have a good time, I would think. Other than like you're saying with the knuckles, maybe that's not so great with the injury-inducing things it does. That would be too fun.
Yes.
So, all right. Well,
Yes.
we've gotten all the way to our number one. So this is a big moment because, again, Galagaguy88 has his own arcade. So I'm very interested. What is your number one favorite arcade game?
Well, if you haven't guessed it, it's Galaga.
Oh man! Whoa! I thought it was Centipede.
Yeah. So Galaga is my favorite. It's the first arcade I ever played, and it was at a Pizza Hut where I used to live.
Nice.
We got pizza, and there was this, first time I ever seen anything like it. I was like, "What is this thing?" And I begged for a couple quarters from my parents, and I went over there and I started playing, and I never stopped. It just every time I saw a Galaga machine, I had to eventually get my own because I was like, I want to play this at home. Yeah, it's just a game that I can play for hours and not have any issues. So that's my favorite.
Wait a
Oh, yeah.
minute. I think I spotted you in Avengers, didn't I? You were the guy playing Galaga.
Yes.
Tony Stark's like, hey, that guy's playing Galaga.
You did
I
a
just
good job
turned,
of
like-
hiding your face because
Yes.
it does show him later, and he like kind of turns and he starts playing it again. So yeah, I enjoyed your part in that. But that's being that your name
Yeah.
is Galagaguy, that's fitting. But yes, that's a classic. Yeah, I love the Have you ever got? Well, I'm wondering if you own one of those more of the flat top arcades. It's like a table, and
Oh yeah. They call them like head-to-head cabs almost, where it's
Yeah.
like a cocktail
Yeah.
table. Yeah, I've had those before in the past. Those are really, really fun.
Yeah.
I even had a Street Fighter one where you had like both people could see each other's kind of where it's like you had your own screen, he had his own, and they had their own screen, and you could sit there and play Street Fighter on it. Or there's one that had like Pong, and yeah, those are a great time. I love those things.
Yeah, that's another one I picture. I mean, go with the classic, go with Galaga, but I want to say it was like a doctor's office. They had one for some reason. That's like the coolest doctor's office ever. And yeah, there was like, two people playing it. I was just fascinated watching them, but I was like, that's so cool because you're on either side and there's aliens coming down on either side, and it's almost like you're playing cooperative because you can get on the other side of the screen too. So yeah, really cool. That's very fitting. I was expecting, but I was still interested to see if you would go another way, just throw us a curveball or something. So yeah, that's a classic.
Just be like,
Great.
Donkey Kong. It's my favorite game.
I wouldn't fault you for it. I mean, like I said, it's one of my favorites. So yeah, but that's a great. Can't go wrong with Galaga. Yeah, that's a classic for sure. So now we got your pick. Now I'm interested. What is going to be your number one, Ben?
All right, so I don't know exactly what it's called. I've been playing this game for years. Any chance I get, it's simple, it's fun. So it's the clown with the teeth, and you have to knock it out with like a how do we call it? A little cannon. It's like a cannon. It shoots like cannonballs.
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime I would play it, I would always quote Happy Gilmore. I'm like, die clown. But yeah, I've always was fond of that game. So that's my number one.
I'll say this about you, Ben. You like the rigged games pretty
Yeah,
well.
I do. I'm a sucker.
Like that's where the arcades are like, oh, here comes Ben. Did you know he's putting my kid through college? This is great. All right.
Yeah.
No, that was a fun one. I kind of recall that one because it's like I don't know, cannonball isn't the right word, but it's like a little ball you shoot out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it hits the teeth. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's a fun game. Yeah. And that one I've seen at numerous arcades. It's again, I would say it's kind of rigged a little bit because like one of those you have to hit it just right on the teeth to get the high score. But yeah, I recall trying it a few times. It's always that whole like, yeah, I could do it, and then you fail miserably at it. At least I did.
If it's the same one I'm thinking of, I had played it and like the teeth wouldn't move. Like I'm like, did they super glue the teeth down or something? Like you would like hit it like, and the ball just like punk, 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 and I'm like, okay, like I hit the same tooth like 4 times and nothing's happening. So
You had the
That's
Happy
awesome.
Gilmore clown for sure.
yes, I
Just,
did.
you just needed that laughter, the as you hit it.
Yes.
Like if you just say, I hate that clown. That's great. Yeah. So I was torn about what could be my number one. Again, I guess ask me on another day. Maybe we could run through some honorable mentions because I'll probably mention some of them that I almost put on this list. But I kept coming back around to the Simpsons arcade. That just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got so many memories with that. And it was like, I want to say Putt Putt. They had an arcade. I remember playing it there. I want to say Pizza Hut had it, like you're bringing out and playing it there. It just seems like everywhere I went, arcades. That's what pops into my brain. And I don't know. A lot of people regard it as a classic. So I'm glad I'm not the only one because I thought growing up, like, I really liked this game. But when you had franchise games, a lot of times they weren't that great. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, do I just like it because I've got this nostalgia with it of playing at all these arcades? But sure enough, yeah, people have a lot of fondness for it. So I don't know. It just, I come back to it. It's like, it's kind of fitting for me to be number one. That's one that I'm going to be disappointed if I walk into an arcade and they don't have the Simpsons. I'll be kind of let down. That's all. I know I can make that my number one, I guess. So yeah.
Yes, that baby blue cab. That one I always popped. That one's awesome.
Yeah, you could find it. You could pick it out. Like, you know, if there's a row of cabinets, yeah, sure enough, you'd be able to locate it. So yeah, it's one I'll never pass up, and especially free to play. I can proudly say I finally beat it after many years. I make it my number one, but for years I didn't play it all the way through. But sure enough, there was an arcade that had the free to play, so I just played it all the way through and did it with 3 other people. That's just a blast. That's what it comes down to. You got to have 3 other people with you too. Don't play it by yourself. I mean, it's still fun, but it's nothing compared to 3 other people with you. And yeah, it's just a fun time. It's one I can think of.
I remember playing that with you, Isaac, and I kept getting a hand cramp.
It does. I mean, it's definitely, again, one of those they're trying to make you lose, so you got to hit the attack button just constantly to stay in it. Otherwise, you'll get a game over pretty quick. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Maybe it's not as fancy as other arcade games, but that's my number one. I feel pretty good about making that my number one. So lots of memories to go with it. Well, maybe real quick, I'm really interested. What were some of your honorable mentions? You can just kind of run through Galagaguy. What do you got?
I had Robotron. I had Mappy. I also thought about air hockey. 2, as far as like racers go, I thought about Outrun, like Ridge Racer. There's just so many games that I'm like, especially too, like Daytona, our Cruising USA. That one was amazing. It just, there's so many. It's like 5. It's like, oh, I don't know. It's just so hard to choose 5, but that's the 5 for right now. And the Simpsons too. That one's also amazing. I was like, oh yeah, like I used to play the Simpsons all the time too. So yeah, that's just some honorable mentions. Oh, and Food Fight. I don't know if you ever played Food Fight. That one was fun. So yeah, those were just some honorable. Oh, Centipede, NBA Jam. Just everything. Oh, they're all good.
I gotta pause for a minute because you mentioned cruising, or is it Daytona 500? Is it just like oh man, there was I don't know if it was a Dave and Buster's, but it was one of those like bigger arcades. I want to say there was 15 of those linked It was at least 10, but it was a lot.
Nice.
They put it up on a jumbo screen with the interconnect, and what they would do is they would actually have an announcer announce it like it was an actual NASCAR race.
Oh,
It was
sweet.
so cool. It was so interactive because even if you were just watching it, even if we weren't playing, like you watch the people playing and it looks like they're really trying because this announcer's just like, oh, it looks like he's getting overtaken. Yes, he overtook him on the curve. Like it was so much fun. Yeah, that's a great. As soon as you mentioned that, I was like, yes, that's a great arcade experience if you go to the right one. And even on its own, it's fun. But yeah, that just, just talking, I'm getting all these core memories unlocked. So you can't go wrong. There's so many great arcades. How about you, Ben? Was there any honorable mentions real quick that you can think of that maybe you weren't able to fit into your top 5?
So X-Men, the X-Men arcade game, Spider-Man. There's one with a boat. I can't remember what it was called exactly, but it's like a racing boat, and there's these ramps, and you collect these boosts, and you go around.
Thunder. Thunder. Why can't I think of it? It's why can't I think of the name of it right now? Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, and then Blitz.
Yes. Yeah, we had a fun time with that recently. Last time, same time with the air hockey. I remember we played a lot of Blitz too.
I got destroyed. It was like 90 to like 5. I'm like, how did I score 5?
Because it's Blitz. It's just it's like gymnastics or something. The score is based upon more style than actually scoring.
Yeah.
Oh, as far as you guys touched on them. Like those I'm missing so many off the top of my head, but that's what I was going to mention. Like you said, Ben, Blitz, the X-Men. How many could you play at once? It wasn't 4 people. Was it like 6 X-Men players? Does that sound right?
Yeah, there were some of them that had 4, and there's a huge one that had 6, where they actually had 2 screens that they set into the cab, and it would like walk across the screen. They were connected, so you could be on either one of the screens, and that was like your whole scene was on 2 screens because it wouldn't fit in one with 6 people. So those were really cool to see.
Yeah, we went to real quick, a memory on that is we went to Cedar Point, and they have a pretty cool arcade, and they had one of those. And one of the people that was with us, he was like, I don't know, 10 years old. He was this little kid, and he happened to stumble across it, and these 5 strangers just joined with him. And it was just hilarious to watch him because I think he was Colossus, or one of the guys was Colossus. So like he shoots out this energy. And this one guy was just like, I'll protect you, little dude. And he would just get on him, and he would do the Colossus move to like get all the enemies off of him. And I wasn't even playing, but I thought it was so much fun watching it. It's just so cool seeing 6 people at once. And of course it's X-Men. So you had the characters Wolverine and Cyclops, Storm, like I said, Colossus, all those. Yeah, that's a great pick. That's off the top of my head, honorable mentions that I can go with. There's so many I'm probably missing. Mario Kart had a pretty cool arcade where, it was F-Zero also. I'm thinking Mario Kart and F-Zero, they came out about the same time, and Nintendo was trying to bring arcade into the home. So I think if you had a GameCube memory card, you can actually bring it to the arcade. And if you had a save file, the unlockables from that game you can incorporate in the arcade, or vice versa, like your save file. So yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, I wish they'd do that more often. Like I know arcades aren't what they used to be, but if they could kind of incorporate that, that'd be so cool. I don't know, that's just me, but yeah, those are some great. I mean, we could go on and on about different arcade games. I'm sure we're missing quite a few, but I think we hit the classics. I think we hit the big ones. So that was a great list, guys. I had a blast going through those. And since we have you, Galagaguy88, we got so excited because we wanted to talk about our arcade games, but we want to make mention, you have your own YouTube channel. Again, you have your own arcade. So we want to be able to bring that out and and kind of get to know you a little bit more. So what we normally do with guests that we have on is we have what's called universal questions. So I'm going to throw it over to Ben. He's going to put you on the hot seat for a few minutes and run through these questions for you.
Okay.
All right, you're on the hot seat. Welcome to the hot seat. So, favorite quote. Do you have a favorite quote?
Oh, it's Princess Bride. Life is pain, and anyone who tells you differently is trying to sell you something.
Yes. Yes,
That's
indeed.
a classic.
Yes.
Favorite food.
It's kind of boring, but I would have to say my favorite food's probably pizza. I like to eat pizza any time of the day, night. Like it's probably like I would say like lasagna is like I really really love lasagna, but if I had one food to eat for the rest of my life, it'd probably be pizza. Like oh yeah, pizza's cool.
I
And
got
you
to
can play
interject.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles while you eat that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
it's fitting.
I got to throw in a quick question though about pizza. How do you feel about pineapple in pizza?
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. I just have to throw that in. That's like the hottest debate when it comes to pizza. So I know
Yes.
that's kind of
Not a
has lived.
fan. My wife likes it. She'll eat it, but I'm like, not really my deal. I don't really care for it.
I've never tried it because I'm allergic to pineapple. So maybe, yeah.
Problem solved.
So you're on team
Problem
no?
solved.
Are you-
I don't know. I'm in between. I might like it, but I can't eat it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw that, but I was like, that's a whole hot topic. I was very interested to hear what your thoughts were on that.
All right. Favorite band.
Oh my goodness, this is a hard one. Ooh, I would have to say Taking Back Sunday. I like them a lot. I
Okay.
mean, I can listen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
I
get
can do
into
some Taking
them.
Back Sunday. Yeah.
It's been a while, but yeah, they were really big back in like the 2000s, 2010s. I remember hearing them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Whenever old people like me were into music.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, you talk about 2000s. I think of it like a year ago, but it's like, wait a minute. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. When they say 10 years ago, it's always 1990. It's like, oh wait, no, that's not.
Yeah.
Favorite vacation.
Favorite vacation would be I'd like to go. Oh man, I'd say Outer Banks. We've been there a few times. You go out there and you can go on the beach in the water, and there's actually wild horses that you can see. We've had them where they come right up to you. You're not supposed to feed them or touch them because there are wild horses, so you don't want. But it's just really kind of just cool to sit there and like chill on the beach and with the horses. Like you're just horsing around. I guess that's just what you do.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Do you have a bucket list item?
To see Ben eat a piece of pineapple pizza.
You know, that might be my bucket list item.
2 for 1. No,
I would just keel over.
No. Bucket list item. I would say probably I don't know. I would say to play music live somewhere. That would be like kind of cool. Like actually
That'd be
like
awesome.
in front of a huge crowd, like a stadium. Like that would be cool, like to somehow make that happen. But
That's cool.
I don't know what else. Never really thought about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sidetrack note, but I've had so many random dreams again with dreams about me like trying to play drums for bands and I can't find the drumsticks anywhere. So anyways, that's another topic.
You got the ants eating it. Maybe they're termites. They're not.
That's what it is. All right. Favorite mustache, since you are officially on Mustaches and Coffee.
I thought about this one beforehand. I like the chameleon mustache. So by that, the best
Ooh.
count I could come up with is Stanley from The Office. There's a whole episode where they debate afterward if he has a mustache or not. Like they can't really tell if he does. So I call that the
like that.
chameleon mustache. We don't even know if he has it or not.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different too. That's a great pick
Yeah.
because I remember that episode.
Yeah.
There's certain people like that too. I don't know. That's a whole other debate now, topic to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yes.
So going along with that, again, we're mustaches and coffee. So we got to ask you now too. What is your favorite coffee?
So my wife got me one of these packets that had like all this variety of coffee from, I think it's called Bones Coffee is what it's called. And there was a s'mores in that, and
Ooh.
that was very delicious. So I'd probably choose that one. Now, there was a coffee that I had. Me and my wife were on vacation one time and we were like drinking this coffee, and I was like, this is the best tasting coffee I've ever had in my life. And she was drinking it too. I had like 4 cups because I loved it so much. And a lady, we asked her, like, what do you guys make? Like, how do you doing this? And she's like, oh, here's what we use. And she pulled out a Dunkin' Donut, like, bean bag. And I was like, what? So I tried to make it at home. It didn't taste right. So I don't know what they did, but it was amazing. But so I have to go with the bone coffee.
Cool. I've heard of them. I honestly have not tried them. So I love hearing brands that I haven't got a chance to try yet. Get a recommendation. I'll have to check that one out. That sounds very good. You said it was a s'mores flavor specifically?
Yes, s'mores. Yep.
Okay.
So that is that's what when I use that. Do you guys usually do like French press, or do you do drip, or what do you guys usually do with your coffee?
Yeah, it depends. Like if I have the time and energy, I'll do French press, but most of the time I'm rushing, so I'll just do your standard. But I think Ben's
Okay.
he's got a French press. I don't know how often to use it.
So I got several things. I got the mocha pot. I got the French press. I do the espresso quite a bit. I love my espresso machine.
You need espresso for the depresso, so it's only
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to live up to that for sure. So,
Yeah.
well, great.
I love the French press. It's just like afterward, like I like it how it makes the coffee, but then afterward, I'm always like, man, this thing's kind of a mess to clean up. Like I don't understand how to do this. I'm always, it's a lot.
Like we've learned in a previous episode, just throw them in the woods.
Yes.
I like that thought. Yes, I've taken the French press on camping trips, and you regret it every time. It's like, why did I go do this? Now I can't go to like 10 times more work to clean it up. So it is good.
That's what you need to make, the disposable French press. I don't know how to make that, but make it happen.
It's made out of recycled cardboard somehow. Like it doesn't overheat and melt, but you can just like bury it after you're done.
Yes.
You're onto something there. I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
We need to come up with some kind of blueprint or patent for it, and then we can get that thing rolling. I'm all for it. So, well, great. I really appreciate your answers. Those were some great answers. So we again, honored to have you with us. Really added to our topic of arcade games. So can't thank you enough for coming on and giving your knowledge and sharing with us. Again, I had a great view of your arcade this whole time. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts on your favorite arcade games.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and move into our last segment.
Last drop.
Brought to you by Sticker Mule. For high-quality, customizable stickers, go to our link to get a $10 credit on your first order.
Take it away, Ben.
For the last 4th year straight, another mysterious monolith has appeared, this time in Las Vegas. Authorities in the Las Vegas area removed a mysterious monolith from the desert north of the city out of concerns for the damage tourists could do to the natural area. The 77-inch tall structure, constructed out of sheet metal and secured with rebarb and concrete, was spotted earlier this month in Las Vegas. And these monoliths has been around since 2020, and they have appeared all over the world, and yet nobody knows where they come from because footprints aren't found around the area. That's what I got.
Well, that's kind of different. You haven't spotted any in your area there, Galagaguy, have you?
No, but if I do, I'll give you all a call. That is weird.
A lot of people are saying this is looks like the thing from the 2001 Space Odyssey.
I could see that. Yeah. It's so weird. And I remember reading about those popping up in different places, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. Keep your eyes peeled for them. They might be coming to a town near you, I guess, because more than likely it's some kind of prank going on. But it's kind of odd. You said they didn't find any like footprints or anything around it?
No, so the first one that was spotted, I remember this, was down this valley in the middle of the desert, like hundreds of miles away from anybody. There was no tracks, no footprints, no nothing. And it was like in a cave. And then like the authorities came a couple days later to remove it, and it wasn't there anymore. And yet still no footprint. So people were like, is it aliens? I don't know. Just weird.
Yeah.
That is.
I could see how you think it was aliens until you find out it's made of concrete and rhubarb. It's like
advanced technology.
like then it's like, oh, I don't think aliens are using that.
Yeah, it's just kind of fishy being a prank, especially since it didn't pop up till here recently. And then, yeah, you could just see somebody like making it in their garage and then lugging it in a, I don't know. Maybe that's what these millionaires are doing. They're like bored. So they're like, let's start freaking people out. Like they get a helicopter and just drop it in, so there's no footprints or anything. Yeah, there might be a reason behind it, but I don't know. Very, very interesting there. So thank you for that, Ben. We'll be a little more aware of our surroundings. Make sure if we see one of those, I guess, contact the authorities, or I would just stay away. I don't know. I wouldn't want to mess with those things regardless. So anyway, well, let's open this up to Galagaguy88. Again, we appreciate you coming on, but maybe tell everyone where they can find you at. What are some links, maybe social media platforms that you're on?
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube, at Galagaguy88. Just look me up there. Lots of different content that I do when it comes to home arcades. I do different modifications to them, have videos on that. Two, we're doing an interview here coming up to a fella who did an arcade documentary. So we have him coming up too. So be on the lookout for that. Just a lot of different stuff that I do on there. So yeah, just catch me on YouTube. And hopefully you like it.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. That's really cool. They've got him on. And I think if you like anything arcade, and more than likely if you're listening to this episode, you have some kind of liking for arcade, definitely check him out. You've got many videos. I've was really impressed with not only your knowledge, but what you were going through on your cabinets that you rebuild. So yeah, really interested in that, and keep up the good work, because really enjoy the content that you're putting out. So we'll make sure we also do our due diligence. So Ben, why don't you tell everyone where they can find us at?
Yeah, you can get a hold of us. You can get a hold of us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Stash and Joe, where all our videos are now on YouTube. And just make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube or any other platform that you can listen to us. And feel free, if you have questions for me and Isaac, we welcome them. Any questions, even if it's random, we want to hear from you. So send us the questions at mustachesandcoffee@yahoo.com. That's how you get a hold of us.
Great. Yeah. You've heard the show. You can send us practically any question. We'll probably, if it's within reason, we'll read it and we'll give some answers. So feel free to contact us there, and wherever you're listening to this at, if you can give us a 5-star review, we greatly appreciate it. We want to get this out to as many people. The more 5-star reviews we get, the more people will find us. So again, we got to thank Galagaguy88. We really appreciate it. We had such a great time. And you're welcome back anytime. So thank you for coming on and having a fun time with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
That'll do it for now. But as we always say, don't bash the stash.
I need espresso for the depresso.
Goodbye, everybody.